Hey there friends, it's Missy again. Thanks so much for joining me today. I'm back with a new layout for Hip Kit Club, and I'm using the 2019 August kits. And I'm going to start this page with some of the Vicki Boutin packaging. I think the packaging in her collections is so gorgeous, and it's perfect for a scrapbook layout. So I'm going to fussy cut that out. And then I'm also going to use some of these pretty little studio white die cuts, but since they're white, they are perfect for adding color to. So I pulled out several of them that I thought I might use, and I'm going to add some color to those here momentarily. And then my photo is this. This is of my youngest daughter from, I think this is from 2014. She's so tiny. She's sitting on this giant four-wheeler, and we had all just gone for a ride. And technically this is a fall photo since our theme for this week is either back to school or fall, and since I live in Florida, I don't really have a lot of typical fall photos since we don't really have fall season. So this photo was taken in the fall, so I'm going to make it work. Okay, so I fussy cut out this packaging, and I love that it's in the shape of an L. And I love that it's perfect for tucking the corner of a photo right there in the center where that red flower is. And so I wanted to anchor this piece sort of toward the lower left corner of my background. And that's just the starting point of this whole page. And so I'm going to base everything else around that. And I love starting with something in the very beginning that's going to sort of dictate where the layout is going to go. I'm going to wind up using a lot of the Truly Grateful collection on this layout. I'm going to do some fussy cutting. I'm going to use a lot of the stickers, the die cuts, lots of flowers and leaves. So, all right, so I'll put that aside for now, and I'm going to start to color some of these pretty little studio die cuts. And I had to cut some of this out because my computer is giving me grief. I don't know if it's the weather from the hurricane. We've been getting on and off thunderstorms this whole weekend when I was filming this. So yeah, forgive me if my voiceover does not match up with what you're seeing. But anyway, I'm smudging some gesso down on top of these, and then I'm going to use the Lindy's powders. We've gotten several of these over the last several months. I'm going to use some yellows, some pinks, a little bit of the purple that we get from this month, and just add a little bit of water and a little bit of the powder, and then add more water and just let it smudge and let it run and blend and just create its own thing. I mean, the water and the powder just react together and it just works. So yeah, I did film coloring all of these, but like I said, I had to cut some of it out because it kept freezing, and I don't know if there was something wrong with the video, but you get the idea there. Okay, so I let them dry. I don't wind up using all of those. I am going to use that yellow piece with the polka dots, or not the polka dots, but the circles cut out of it. And I love that it's that deep golden yellow color. And I've already glued down this piece. And I'm going to try to work in some of these strips of washi tape from the Pretty Little Studio collection. And this is where this layout just starts to take a nosedive. I'm thinking that I was suffering from hurricane brain and I could not concentrate. My mind was so distracted. I was constantly checking the Weather Channel. If you've been paying attention, then you know that Hurricane Dorian is out there. And as of me doing this voiceover, it could still turn and come right over Florida. It's scheduled to go right up the east coast of Florida without ever hitting landfall in Florida. But if I've learned anything from hurricanes in the past, is that they can and they will make last minute changes and just plow right across the state. So hopefully it's not going to, but yeah, when I was making this page, just know that my mind was not 100% in it, and when I'm distracted like that, it shows. So hopefully you will still like this layout, and the process is kind of stressful, so I'm just going to go with it. But so all I'm doing here is just kind of playing around with a lot of the Truly Grateful leaves and flowers and things, and I totally do not like anything that I'm doing here. This is just experimenting. The only thing that's glued down is the Vicki Boutin piece, and yeah, I'm making this and I'm putting all these pieces together, and I'm thinking, I just do not like the way this is looking. Not the pieces. I love this collection with all my heart, but the design of this is just not working. I just kept layering things down, and so yeah, took it all off, And then I thought, okay, I need to do some mixed media. And let me show you, this is an experiment right here. I'm going to show you what happens when you don't use gesso, okay? So I have not put any gesso on this cardstock. Watch this. This is why I use gesso. People ask me all the time, can you do this without gesso? Let me show you the difference. Okay, so I activated the powder. I'm going to do the packaging technique with this yellow watercolor, and I want you to watch what happens. It's going to soak right through the paper. The exact shape of how it landed. Do you see that? It's already soaked right through. There's no way that I can smudge it or blend it or let it run around the page. It is already soaked right through. And the shape that's there, that's the shape that it was when I flipped the packaging over. That's exactly the way it's going to stay. And you can see how much darker it is, which is still a beautiful color, but it's totally different when you don't use gesso. And if you want the ability to let it run and blend and bleed together, you got to use gesso. Okay, so I tried to salvage this by adding gesso over the top of that, and it just takes a nosedive from here. This just turns into a big old disaster. The paper started to rip and tear in places because, again, it wasn't protected. And you can still see that area where I did not use the gesso. You can see up above there where I added water. And then I just started spraying, and yeah, no. This just did not work. This is me scrapbooking stressed out. Yeah, but I'm glad that I kept this part in there because I wanted to show you gesso versus no gesso. It does make a difference. And it just depends on the look you're going for. But I did add a lot of water to that yellow powder, and so it was a big blob of water. But still, you know, usually when you use gesso, you're able to kind of manipulate it. So I took a break and I said, you know what? No, let's just chunk this and we're going to use a whole different background. So I still have that background, but it's probably going to be trashed. And I know that I'm a proponent of don't trash anything, continue to work with it until you make it work. But you know what? I'm blaming Hurricane Brain. And I was like, you know what? I don't like it. No, start over. Okay, so I like this much better. And this is my third layout in a row for hip kits using pattern paper as a background. I have not used white. I started to use white, but you saw what happened. Yeah, lesson learned, use gesso. Okay, so this pattern paper here is from Truly Grateful Paige Evans, and I kind of used a similar color background paper last week, but this one is got a grid on it. It's very subtle. But I just think it's so pretty. I don't know. I've just been in a purplish, pinkish mood. And the Truly Grateful collection has a ton of that color. And I just think it's so pretty. And it just goes with all these other bright colors. And I think it's pretty for fall. So I still want to go with that L shape with the Vicky Bouton piece that I started with. And that I kind of tore that off of the white paper and it's coming with me. So I'm still going to start with that design and just kind of create some layers of things around it. I've got a Project Life card behind there that says Story of Today. I've got one of those pretty little studio frames that's the black and white. And then I'm going to kind of create another little cluster over to the upper right area using more flowers, leaves, and some of those little trees from Truly Grateful. I think they're so pretty. I love that orange and the pink tree. Those colors are so pretty, and they're definitely got a fall feel to them. And so I think even though, like I said, this isn't, you know, a typical fall photo, I think in the end it still has a fall feel to it. And for me, I'm going to count it because, you know, this is my idea of fall, and so I just think you have to interpret things the way they work for you. So those pretty little studio pieces that I colored earlier, I'm going to use that little hello piece on the left, and then the one with the circles cut out of it on the bottom. And I am going to do some fussy cutting. You saw me doing that there. Here's another almost disaster. Yeah, this was like the layout full of disasters. So my thought here was I wanted to put some purple on the background, but the purple powder that we got in the color kit this month was a little too bold. I wanted more of that soft fall purple that's in one of the leaves, And so I thought that I would pull out 3 of the sprays from Lindy's that we've gotten over the last several months and mix those with some white acrylic paint. So I just kept spraying and mixing and stirring and mixing and spraying until I got the exact color that I wanted. And my computer is freezing up again, so hopefully this is matching. It's probably not. If this video turns out to be a disaster, I apologize. I'm blaming the hurricane because it's caused a lot of problems this weekend, and it's not even here yet. So yeah, now I've got a big watery purple mess there, and I just wanted to scrape some paint on my background. A lot of this is going to get covered up, and in the end, you cannot even really tell that I did this part. It's very subtle. It's still going to dry a lot lighter than you see here. I'm just using my palette knife to scrape it. And of course, since I added a lot of liquid to that paint, it got a lot thinner. And so it didn't scrape as well as I had originally hoped, but it's still there and we're just going to go with it. So I did glue down all of the main elements here so I can just move everything together without having to piece it back and forth as I go. And you can kind of see what I've got going on with the purple there. It's kind of visible around the edges of everything. I'm going to add some splatters with some of the purple and the pink and see what happens. The pink that I added to it winds up being a little bit lighter once I roll the paper towels over it, but it's okay. I just kind of at this point of the layout, I was just like, we're just going to go with whatever happens and see how it goes. I did want to create a little cluster of some things over on the upper right corner area. So I'm going to use the other half of that frame and another tree sticker and some leaves and flowers. But before I glue anything down, I just decided to go splatter happy. And I went with some light pink, some dark pink, and here's another instance of gesso versus no gesso. Do you see the difference? Look how light and how dark that is based on the part where the gesso is and the part where the gesso is not. Looks like a totally different color. So gesso definitely can play a part in how your colors look when you splatter them down even. So, but yeah, I actually do like this background. I do like the purple as a base. So I decided to glue things down and do some stitching. I wanted to kind of focus on the L shape of the design, so I used some pink thread to kind of accentuate the L, and then some over here on the right because I wanted to kind of echo the pink thread. And then I'm going to start to come back and layer in all the flowers, the die cuts, the stickers, the ones that I fussy cut, and then just continue to build everything. I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive foam behind some of the pieces over in the cluster on the right, just to add a little bit of dimension and interest. And I felt like adding a little bit of black and white into the mix was good because my photo's in black and white. Yeah, the four-wheeler in this photo was dark green and her shirt was purple. So this photo might have worked in color, but I didn't want it to compete with all the other colors of the flowers and everything. And so I felt like black and white was better for this particular page. I'm going to add some thread. I'm going to add some purple in a couple places and then start to glue things down. I'm using Scotch tacky glue in my bottle. I know someone usually always asks. Now these are fun. These are the clear stickers from Pretty Little Studio, and they look exactly like little watercolor splotches. So I thought that I would use a couple of those to add in some hot pink up in the upper right area and then right here underneath the photo. It looks exactly like the watercolor. I wish I had a bunch of different sizes of those because those are perfect, and those are also perfect if you like the look of mixed media but you don't actually want to do it. It gives you the effect of it with just a sticker. So I'm going to add in a couple of these black outlined flowers and then a couple of these little messy X's just for a couple other pops of black. And then some more thread. I think that's purple again. I'm going to add that up to the upper right cluster. And I was trying to incorporate all of the colors in the cluster. So I've got pink, yellow, orange, purple, blue, and green, and black. And that little orange tree has some gold foil on it. It's so, so pretty. So I'm going to glue down all the bits and pieces that I haven't glued down yet. I did fussy cut out a couple more of those little rounded leaves from the pattern paper from Truly Grateful to tuck in a couple spots. And then I struggled with my title a lot. I do use one of these Vicki Boutin butterflies. I didn't use the entire dimensional part. I just tore off the vellum piece, and I'm going to use one butterfly for another little pop of black. But my title, I went back and forth, and I decided to use this gorgeous pink right now, mainly because I liked the way it was 2 words and I could stack it, and I liked the color of it, and I thought it was just the right color. I do want to bring a pop of that blue color. Since I've got one big blue flower on the right, I'm going to add a blue leaf over to the left, kind of echo that color over there. And so I try to play around with some more stickers here. I don't wind up using any more of the puffy stickers. There's so many that I wanted to use, but they just didn't work in any specific space. These are the exclusive stamps that Femke from our design team created, and I'm going to use a couple of those. This one says Adventure, and I'm just going to stamp it right onto the background, and then a little one that says Fearless, because oh wait, I'm sorry, that one's going to come next. This one says Hello up at the top. I'm going to use Fearless above Adventure. And then the last couple things I'm going to do is add in a couple more leaves around Now, and then I'm going to come in with my journaling. And the good thing about using a grid paper as the background is you don't have to draw lines. The lines are already there for journaling. And why are my pictures out of order? There's the final layout. I think I still have my journaling coming up. Is this even right? Oh my gosh. This is gesso. Where did this come from? Oh my gosh. You guys, my video is so messed up, but I don't have time to redo it. There's some gesso from way back in the beginning. What? Who am I? What is this? Okay. If you stuck with me through this crazy video, thank you. I hope you like the finished product that has already been shown. Good grief. Here are the close-ups. I don't even know what to say, except I'm sorry that this video has been crazy. My brain is not right now. Hopefully, I will make it through this hurricane without going insane. I'll keep you posted. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Have a great week.